This is a poem, two question poem. Whenever you come across a poem, read it, try to understand whatever you can, and answer as many questions as you can. If they're really tough or confusing, leave it and move on. If there are two questions, one will definitely be easy, and you can solve the passage pretty fast because it's a poem. It doesn't have too many words per line. Day by day, I float my paper boats one by one down the running stream. In big black letters, I write my name on them and the name of the village where I live. I hope someone in some strange land will find them and know who I am. I load my little boats with shiuli flowers from our garden and hope that these blooms of the dawn will be carried safely to land in the night. I launch my paper boats and look up into the sky and see the little clouds setting their white bulging sails. I know not what playmates of mine in the sky sends them down the air to race with my boats. When night comes, I bury my face in my arms and dream that my paper boats floats on and on under the midnight stars. The fairies of sleep are sailing in them and lading is their basket full of dreams. All right. Now, when you read this passage, the first thing that comes to you, somebody talking about playmates, dreaming, writing names on the boards. This is the protagonist, the person who in whose voice this poem seems to be written is that of a child. Right? I mean, why would you talk about playmates if you're not? And why would you talk about writing your name that somebody somewhere will read it? So the poem is a nice poem, beautiful one of a little child setting sail paper boats with names, filling the paper boats with flowers, and hoping that somebody in some faraway land will actually see the boat. So it's only the mind of a child that will think that this paper boat will survive a journey through some lands and reach somewhere. And also, the sky, he says, some playmates are racing the clouds with my paper boats. So, this shows the dreams and fantasies of a child. It just reflects the innocence of a child. Let's read the first question. Which of the following best reflects the theme of the poem? The poem is poet, the person, at least the lines indicate, the tone indicates it's a child who's setting his paper boats to sail, who's launching his paper boats, filling them with flowers, hoping that the boats would journey through the day, through the night, reach some distant land. He or she has written a name on it so that somebody who reads it, somebody in the distant land would see the boat, see the name, and know who he is, know the village from which this little child is from. Right? So, what is the theme of the poem? The dream of a child, the fantasies of a child, the innocence of childhood. No adult would think like that. So, those are the themes that we have in mind. Let's look at the options. The poem reflects childhood innocence, dreams, and fantasies through the author's story of his paper boats. Looks good. The poet depicts the loss of innocence in adults. It shows the innocence of a child doesn't mean the loss of innocence in adults. That's the other side of the coin. Just because I am innocent doesn't mean you are guilty, right? The child is innocent. It shows the innocence of a child doesn't mean the adult doesn't have innocence or is robbed of his innocence. So, two is not the answer. The poem is about the foolishness of children. The tone of the poem is so positive. Where is the question of foolishness there? Therefore, C is out. The central theme of the poem is the journey of life. Very philosophical, maybe, but from what we read, we know the literal meaning. Even if we try to dig deep into some sort of layer of philosophy underneath, it's not reflected. Maybe, but from what we can read and understand, that cannot be. The comparison between the practical nature of adults haven't been mentioned in the passage, therefore there is no adult here, it's only the innocence of children. So I go back to option A, which is the answer.